Tactics Training Part 4. Let's get started. I'm white, 6 pawns, 6 pawns. So I'm doing a material count first, as always. 3 minors. He only has 2 minors here, so this is really strange. So somehow he's lost material, so he's way worse. 2 rook. Actually, I'm down. It's down in exchange. So he has 2 rooks. I have 1 rook. So that's what it is. And I have a very strong move coming up, I think. So the queen is obviously under pressure. There's not a lot of analysis required here. So how do I pile on the pressure more? Well, it's probably a move like this, hitting yet another piece. And there's really, what's the answer to it? I don't think there's any answer. I'm going to win massive material here, at least on c6 and check and pick up a rook. At the very least, let's just see. Yeah, it's not too hard to see that. Takes. I can do, just keep taking, basically. Yeah, take on e7. I can keep on taking, actually. Yeah, I'm up material. What am I worried about here? That's it. Okay, problem 1 out of the way. Problem 2. Okay. 5 white pawns, 5 black pawns, 2 black rooks, 2 here, and a bishop. So we're equal material, but we got a passer that just looks like it's on its way to queening. I have a little bit of an indirect threat here. My queen is hanging, so that's a pretty obvious issue I have to deal with right away. What else? Again, so I got the passer, I got my queen hanging to worry about, so I got to deal with the queen first, obviously. That's the big problem. And how to do that is the question. Well, let's see. I think if I take the queen, he takes, and I can play bishop f4, skewering both rooks. The problem, though, is from a counterplay perspective, does this guy get somewhere? That's the worry. Do I got to take first? I think I got to take the queen. He'll take, and I think I got to do this move second. No, maybe not, because then he takes with the rook. Oh, he can't. He can't because of the mate threat. So I can do this. Now I'm with you. And now this. Bang. Okay. Feeling that's a tough problem, but on to number 3. 6 black pawns. 6 white pawns. 2 minors. 3 minors. 3 minors. 2 rooks and queen, of course. So what is the story telling here? Well, one is one of development. Black is underdeveloped. You can see he's not castled, and his pieces are not fully developed. For white, his king is sort of in the center here. He's got a nice diagonal. Got a bit of a pin here, which is nice. I just got to be mindful of that stuff. So what makes sense here to do? Could just take the bishop, but what does that exactly do? Sometimes, taking just automatically without thinking is never a good idea, because trading should be done for a reason, not just for the heck of it. And now I see, obviously, the bishop on the queen as well, so I can play a move like d5, which looks pretty damn good to me. And I'm going to play it because I think that looks too much to deal with. Yeah, hit me with check. Why not? I'll take it. And the only real move here to block is, well, I can block with the queen, but then the knight hangs. So I got to block with this. There you go. Okay. What are we up to now? Problem 4? I think it's problem 4. Okay. 7 black pawns, 7 white pawns. Okay, equal material. And what is the position looking like? Well, we got a pawn that's almost It's blockaded for now with this other pawn, but if it gets free, it's going to march down a queen. That's just a general issue, not something to be worried about right now. The other thing I see right away is this square. If I could play knight f5 to g3, it's forking all three pieces here, so that's interesting too. I should say that I already looked to see what the danger is to my king, and there isn't an immediate danger. This is, I see this diagonal here, but it's not an immediate problem where I'm getting mated. So what do I do? So the move knight f5 looks interesting to get to the square, but the problem is he also has, bishop taking. Is that a concern? Is the question. I could just pop right in there with check, and then take and take. I like knight f5, just generally speaking, is a good move. I don't even know if it tactically works or not, but it looks just, how do you deal with it? Knight f5, king g1, let's just say. It just looks like such a fundamentally good move. It's very hard to ignore. Sometimes moves just, scream out at you. And obviously you have to be careful that it's not designed to make it look like that's the move when it isn't. But just generally, knight f5, right? Eyeing, these squares are very strong. Now, obviously, he has a dark squared bishop, so he can contest that at some point. But it looks like just a really good move. I'm going to play it because I think it's just, I need to see the continuation though. If he plays king g1, knight g3, and I'm not sure how I'm winning this. That's the only question I have. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to play it because I think it makes the most amount of sense. Sometimes when you're low on time or you see a position like this and you just can't find a winning move. Again, in real life, you don't know if this position you're in actually has a tactical move. In this case, we know there is one, but I don't want to take 10, 15 minutes to think about this problem, right? I'm just going to have to make a good move that is non-committal but makes sense. So I'm going to play knight f5. Okay, turns out it's the best move. Now I'm just going to play knight g3 check, capture, and then if he takes, I'll just take back with the bishop, with the knight, and then I'm up ahead. But I am curious. Let's just see what happens if instead of taking, he just played like king g1. It still has knight g3, I guess. Oh, his queen is trapped. Interesting. Yeah, I should have seen that. Knight g3 is crushing either way. Okay, number 5. All right, let's see, 3, 4, 6 pawns. 6 pawns, looks good. 4 minors, 2 rooks, queen. Okay, so it looks like it's equal material. God, what a mess. It's been early exchanges in the center, and white is not really developed, but neither is black, so it's kind of a mishmash of lack of development here. These games, these tactical problems are actually taken from real games. You see the names of the players listed here between like a 2000 player and a 2100 player. So not master level, but are there threats to my king is the first question. And no, my king needs to be castled, but there's no immediate threat to any check or checkmate scenario. Beyond that, are there any other material issues where I'm losing a piece? No. Again, there's very little development. The one highlight of this game that I'm already seeing immediately, and I saw it for the first second I started my my analysis, is this very nice long diagonal. So is that going to be a theme here? It looks like it might be. So the first move that comes to mind here is a move like queen d4 hitting on f2. And where do you stop it? If he plays knight h3, I just take it. What other move is there? Again, he's so cramped, he can't do very much. I don't see what he's going to do to defend it. So if I play here to here and even goes here, I just made him with e3. That's got to be the move. I don't see anything else. Just double checking. Again, he has no development, so counterplay is just so difficult. Here we go. Yeah, as expected, and he's made it. Okay, number 6. 5 pawns, 6 pawns. So black is up a pawn. He's got the same material in rooks and bishops, but you can see he has a lot of firepower on this file here. Lots of firepower. So I got to be particularly careful about what I do. Now what I will say is I have a move like this, which is on the diagonal. That's the first thing I notice. But is it really dangerous? The threats to me, obviously, I see from the bishop. So it gets that. So playing here gets out of that and puts a pin on him. But is that really decisive? He just can move his king, or can he? It's actually a tough move to do. I kind of like the pin, and what's interesting about this pin is he can't really ever move. So if I play queen b2, I could like lift my rooks, put the other rook over there, and I'm not sure what he can do to stop it. It's very difficult because the moment he moves his king over there, I have the c5 push. So he's got a lot of stuff to navigate. All right, let's give it a shot here first. Queen b2. Trying to think what else he might have. Let's do it. It looks very strong. Oh, it's wrong. Good. Well, it's going to happen. What's the right move? Let me try again here. Is it just taking? No. Okay, that does work, but so, oh, and I have this. That's so obvious. See, obvious moves sometimes are the best moves. Well, there you have it. Okay, number 7. Gotta get my one wrong here. Okay, so this is a mess here too. Gosh, 7 white pawns to 3 black pawns, 2 rooks versus a black queen and a bishop. Now, normally this is a lot of pawns to manage, but they're not very far advanced. So, therefore, not very scary. There are threats to my king, like check or check, but this bishop covers it, so I'm not too worried about that. The king looks very vulnerable. I'm thinking here if queen f1 takes f2, and what does he do? Queen f1 is important because it keeps the king out of these squares, and it threatens to take this pawn, so it looks pretty strong. Let's just look a little longer here. He can't defend it too easily. All right, let's do it. Oh, wow, he's that scared of it. Okay. Number 7. Okay. 6 pawns, 5 pawns. So up a pawn, but he just captured on e5, the knight on e5. Oh, 3 minors. I have 2 minors, although I'm about to take one of them back probably to level the material balance. I got a problem here on taking because this square is very weak for the queen to come in at some point and mate me. So wow, what do we do here? There's a lot of stuff happening. I think a good move here is just looking at this abstractly here. This is a sort of a dead diagonal. I'm not worried about that because of the pawn here. But if I take here, 2 pieces are still hanging. This and this. Even if he takes my rook, it doesn't really matter because I'm still going to be up the exchange. I mean, a full piece. Yeah, just taking this way doesn't do enough. I don't see that. I'm going to take this way. Yep. And now I'll take back. This is a good question now. Which is the right way to take back? Fe looks interesting. And he just takes. I might take the rook. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want to take here because then he has the ability to push at some point. Maybe. Is that right though? Does that make sense? He also has bishop check, so I got to be a little careful here. Yeah, if I go here, he has bishop check first, and then he pushes my king away, and then he takes the rook, so that can't be. So it's got to be this way. Yeah. Okay. Number 8. Wow. Ending tactics. Dead equal material, but 2 connecteds, which is always a good thing, but they're not very far advanced. I have these isolated pawns here. So the question is, what do I do here? Well, a check here, I'm starting to look at it. There's no threats to my king, obviously. So a check here forces the king to a light square. So wherever he goes, he's going to get hit with a discovery or a fork if he goes here, right? Hitting the king, hitting the bishop. I just got to look at this more to make sure there isn't anything else that he escapes with here. So check. Let's say he goes here. Oh, I hit him with discovered check, and he has no way to come back to defend this piece. He can only go to a dark square. That's got to be it. Interesting. Interesting problem. Check. Now check, and I win the piece. Okay, number 9. Only 1 point for that? Gee, I thought it was tougher than that. Okay, quickly here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 white pawns. 5 black pawns. There's been a lot of blood spilled here. 2 rooks, 2 rooks, 2 minors. He's got the bishop pair, but this bishop looks terrible. He's got a great bishop here on this nice diagonal here. Very, very nice. My king, is it in danger? Are any of my pieces in danger? Well, the queen is clearly being hit by the rook. That's one problem. My king, indirectly threatened. I mean, he's got this diagonal, so I got to be a little careful. If he's able to just get a rook over and go rook over here and then go here, but that's long-term issue. Oh, I think I might see it. Immediately I'm looking at this move. And the reason why is on knight d3, if queen d3, then I hit him with check and I win the queen. On rook takes, I just can play rook takes, and I'm mating him again. Actually, he's got problems. Looks pretty damn good. What else is there, though? Is knight f3 a better move that I'm just missing? Now knight f3 just takes it. It doesn't mean anything. It's got to be knight d3. Yeah, I like it, I think. Is there anything else? I got to move quickly. I mean, my queen's being hit here. Where am I going to go? I can move back to any number of squares. It's totally safe. But what does it do, though? It doesn't do anything. That's the problem. I mean, it protects my queen, but is there a stronger move? This is the thing you have to think strategically. Is there a better? So I got to look at this knight d3 much deeper. I'm going to do it. I think this is the strongest move. Let's see. Sure enough, I just check, so I got to take. He's going to sacrifice the queen. Wow. Okay. That takes care of that. So I'm right. Okay, last problem. Okay. 5 pawns. 6 pawns. Yep, a pawn here. Wow. 3 minors. Sorry, 4 minors and 4 minors, 2 rooks. No queens on the board. Interesting. King's in the hole. My king's in the hole. What's the situation? Any threats to my pieces? Well, this pawn is weak because it's on being hit multiple times. Not necessarily the end of the world, of course, but it is what it is. He's got this rook hanging. So, I mean, all things being equal, it's not a bad situation there. So I'm wondering if the first move is to take this knight, but does it matter? Do I need to take the knight, or do I just take the rook immediately? Oh, I think so, because yes, and the reason why is it's protecting the rook. So if I take it, right, the rook is now free, the full rook, and that is problem 10. Hope you enjoyed my walkthrough. Hopefully it helped you in your tactical training. Any thoughts or suggestions, please leave me a message or a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.